Night of Champions match card prediction. I'm Will. That's Brandon. We're the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling podcast. As always, let's cheers. Talk about some wrestling.
Yeah, this one's going to be kind of fun. We gave ourselves a little bit of time. The King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring. Maybe we'll be right on some predictions this time.
Yeah, we're about 2 weeks out. 2 weeks out. Like, you know, some storylines have been forming. Most of the time, we don't do very well in these match card predictions because WWE likes to change stuff up so quickly lately, but it looks like we got some storylines in place. Speaking of that, we already have one match in place, 100%. Let's get that bad boy out of the way. John Cena versus CM Punk in Saudi, which is absolutely crazy to think about. Some Ron Killings drama in there as well. That match may change up a little bit by some form of story, but that looks to be pretty solid at this point.
Yeah, I think that's going to be pretty set in stone.
Yeah.
You may have some sort of shenanigans during the match, but that seems to be pretty set in stone, especially after their promo back and forth on SmackDown. I am excited to see what happens next week, or I guess this week technically, on SmackDown with Ron Killings, R-Truth facing John Cena. I assume some CM Punk shenanigans.
Oh, yeah.
Gives Truth the win there.
Truth's going to get the win, 100%. Let's move into it. Let's break it down. This is how we're going to break it down. Boom, 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 boom. We're going to do some non-title matches if we have any. We're going to do our King and Queen of the Ring finale matches, and then we're going to hit our title matches. I mean, the damn thing is called Night of Champions, so you got to feel like if there are matches away from the King and Queen of the Ring, probably going to be title matches here. But let's start off with non-title matches. Did you have any on your card?
I originally did not have any on my card. Now, it is called Night of Champions, so I would think, hey, in order to be on the card, you kind of got to be a champion. But as I'm sitting here thinking, we may get one match.
Yep, that's what I have.
You have one match as well.
Uno non-title match.
Okay. Well, I'm going to put a little pizzazz on it, a little spice. I'm going to tag team match.
Oh.
Going Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker versus LA Knight and Jey Uso.
Ooh.
I was sitting here thinking, when I was making the card, how do I get Jey Uso on this card? How do I get him on here? How do I do anything with this? You think, I know he's not a champion, but you got to think about the scene and everybody wanting to yeet. So I was like, yeah, you know what? Let's just put that together, throw that together. Like I said, it is not a champion, so I doubt that kind of happens, but I could potentially see that happening.
Yeah, I mean, Jey Uso is in the King of the Ring tournament tonight on Raw, so he may squeak his way into Saudi that way, but that's a solid non-title match. I'm with you. I went sort of the same route here. I have the only non-title match that I can see forming here being LA Knight versus Seth Rollins, and then I put with an asterisk or Braun Breaker or Bronson Reed if they wanted to, throw it into that sort of just atmosphere of the Seth Rollins stuff. I mean, LA Knight screws over Braun Breaker in his King of the Ring final. Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker screw LA Knight out of it. LA Knight can either come out and point at the guy who's leading this faction, Seth Rollins, and say, well, I want to just cut the head off the dragon now. Let's do it at Night of Champions. Or you can get a young guy like Braun Breaker on a Saudi card in a singles match, or Bronson Reed, his first singles match since returning would be great. So I do think that we're going to have one non-title match. It's going to be LA Knight versus something faction related.
Yeah, I personally don't think so. If I had to bet, I would say no non-title matches. I mean, it's Night of Champions, so if you're going to lean that way, you got to be a champion to be on the card, but
I mean,
you do miss out on some really key parts there if that is the case.
Yeah, I mean, it is Triple H. He likes his, we're going to have 4 matches going into it, and then the Friday Night SmackDown before it, we're going to get some random.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that.
Why?
I might have something like that on my prediction. I might have something like that already down.
Let's move it on to our Queen and King of the Ring final matches that will be taking place at Night of Champions. So far, we have the qualifiers being Sami Zayn versus Randy Orton, and we have, what is it on the other side?
Cody versus Jay.
Cody versus question mark.
What's Jay?
It's going to be Jay?
They announced that it's Jay, so it's going to be Jay.
So you think you're just calling the shot there? Jey Uso wins on Monday night?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's that on that side, and then on the other side, the women are I'm already messing up. Roxanne and Jade versus Alexa Bliss and
somebody.
So
whoever wins tonight.
Yeah, whoever wins tonight. So we do have 2 qualifiers ready. Let's go Queen of the Ring first. Mm-hmm. Queen of the Ring final.
Yeah.
Night of Champions.
Yep.
Who's in it?
Yeah, I got to stick with my pick here of the Queen of the Ring. So I got Jade Cargill making it. My other pick, obviously, Charlotte Flair didn't get past Alexa Bliss, so I think you got to look at it. Give me Jade Cargill versus Stephanie Vacquet.
Ooh,
as a wrestler once said. I think that's going to be really good. That's another way to push Stephanie to the moon and kind of keep those rocket boots on her. We saw the same thing with Lyra last year. So maybe that's kind of a repeat of, hey, you got second in the Queen of the Ring. Just, hey, watch out. Big things are coming for this person.
Yep. My final is Jade Cargill, Stephanie Vaquer. I'm going to do it. I mean, originally my final was Alexa Roxanne, but given the way that Jade won her match and how there was absolutely no shenanigans and nothing leading to Charlotte, which is what I thought they were going to do for Evolution, I'm going to go ahead and back off that prediction at this point. And then the Alexa win, while looking very dominant as well, that seems to be where Evolution 2 is going. Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair. I mean, just obviously with how the match went before the match, after the match, they're staring each other down. So I don't see Alexa getting there. And then, we both have Stephanie Vaquer then winning the match on Raw tonight, which is one thing. But in my opinion, it's going to be Jade versus the winner of this Raw Final Four match that's happening. Yeah. So either either Asuka or Stephanie Vaquer.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would lean more towards Stephanie.
Yeah, me too.
So
me too.
Which would be fun, which would be good to see. Yeah, the Alexa Bliss stuff, I assume even if you want to break down that match, even better, the Alexa Bliss-Stephanie match, you probably get some sort of Charlotte screwing her over. So that just means, that means there's no other option at that point.
So we're also assuming then that Jade beats Roxanne via something?
Clean?
Clean?
Be me,
You're not gonna see any live stuff?
You could maybe do some Judgment Day stuff, but also, like, for me, if you want Jade to look impressive, you just have her win it clean. Have her kind of dominate. Roxanne can also sell really well for her, make her look super powerful like they've been trying to do. So just go ahead and do that again.
And Roxanne's just half her size, and so you can kind of play into that as well. I mean, it's going to be insane.
Yeah.
King of the Ring final, though. King of the Ring final. As you said, Sammy versus Randy. Cody versus question marks, which we're all going to kind of just assume Mr. Jey Uso. I mean, that's one thing to talk about, that Jey gets in over your carrying crosses and your any returners that we could have gotten on Raw. So that's one conversation to have. But who do we have in the King of the Ring final at Night of Champions?
Yeah, so we got Sami Zayn versus Cody Rhodes. That was our original prediction. Both of us here when the bracket first came out. I think you really have to kind of stick towards that. They didn't give anything in terms of, hey, shenanigans in terms of Sammy maybe not getting past Randy or even Cody. The only thing you really got was Cody-Randy drama.
Yeah.
So maybe some way, somehow that kind of gets more and more intense. I don't know. They might do something with that might end up being, that might be the next feud for Cody and Randy is each other. That might be what they hint at to see, okay, we're going to feud here to see who could take down John Cena, who has the right to go after John Cena. They might go that route. But I got Sami Zayn versus Cody Rhodes in the final, and then I got Sammy just winning it again.
Yeah, I mean, I also have Sami Zayn, Cody Rhodes. I'm going to stick to our OG prediction on that one. And it is sort of the Saudi Sammy thing, and then Cody Rhodes is Cody Rhodes, and he's going to be at the Saudi show, right? Like, I'm booking it from a perspective on, like, what does the Saudi fans want to see? Because this is one of those PLEs where you have to take that into account. Saudi gets to choose kind of what they get to see on their cards. So that's one thing. But the promo before SmackDown this week, or to open SmackDown did this week, did make me kind of rethink it a little bit and want to convince myself for a Randy-Cody match, because they both came out and Randy even looked Cody in the face and was like, you're like a brother to me, but I'm going to do whatever it takes in order to beat this fraud over here, John Cena. So that now kind of makes me... I'm up in the air, but I'm going to lead Sami Zayn versus Cody Rhodes at Night of Champions.
Yeah, if the King of the Ring final was anywhere else, I would would maybe have a little bit of hesitation, but I don't.
It's also, if you get Randy and Cody, it's SmackDown, which I don't see that being how it's going to be in either of these tournaments, man. I don't see it. I don't see it. But let's get to the big ones now. Title matches. The thing is called Night of Champions. We're going to have to get us some title matches here. Obviously, we already talked about John Cena, CM Punk. That's probably going to headline the damn thing. What other title matches do we have on this card?
Yeah, I got a U.S. women's title match. I got Zelina Vega versus Julia. They've obviously already hinted at this time and time again. Julia attacks Zelina Vega. Julia looks to be taking that off Zelina, hopefully. Zelina's ready to fight. She's ready to go. You're going to have to rip this from my dead body or whatever. Like, okay, sure. Cool. I got Julia and Zelina Vega fighting at Night of Champions with hopefully Julia taking the win here.
Yeah, I have this exact match too. Women's U.S. title, Zelina versus Julia, and all I'll say is please do not just save this match for Evolution. I get the belt off of Zelina Vega ASAP. I'm sorry if it sounds like hate. take it for how it is. Julia's great, and we need some new life in that women's U.S. title picture, because the IC title on Raw feels like the most important women's belt on the entire WWE roster at this point at the moment. And then you look over to the women's U.S. title on SmackDown, and you're just like, I couldn't care less when you're on screen right now. So rip it off of Zelina as soon as Night of Champions and have Julia do it. Mm-hmm. I'll move on, though. I have a U.S. men's title match. I do have a U.S. men's title match. I have Jacob Fatu not taking on Solo Sikoa, but his other lackey, Mateo, is who I have up against. Jacob Fatu versus MC Mateo. I do think that we're going to save the Fatu solo match for SummerSlam, but it looks like on SmackDown we are already heavily leaning into this feud, right? They did I'm going to come out on SmackDown next week. Solo said, I'm going to give you one last chance to embrace me again. So we are 100% dipping our feet into this. I originally thought that Fatu might go for Damian as a buffer feud in between the Solo betrayal, and then after Night of Champions, we would ring up the SummerSlam stuff, but it looks like we're sticking to this. And so in order to get to the final boss of the feud, you need to go through the first lackey, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very fair point. I didn't have this on my card, but I could see how you could have it. I mean, it makes sense storyline-wise. Everything with the Bloodline, the original Bloodline, and then Solo's Bloodline has always been kind of drug out, and it's always been like, hey, nothing immediate. We're going to take long time. So I think maybe you just get some sort of attacks on SmackDown at some point, and then maybe you just run Solo versus Jacob at SummerSlam. So maybe we don't get any match until then.
And we're also getting a Hikalu, whatever his name is. I can't say his name correctly, but he showed up on SmackDown Dark Match, so it looks like next week we're probably going to get an addition there, so that might lead to it as well. It might be Jacob versus him. I don't know. I just feel like Jacob Fatu is one of those shining stars they have at the moment. And I don't think he's participated that much at Saudi shows so far. So get him in a solos match there and have him pop him like crazy.
Yeah. I mean, he'd be over with the crowd, which is what you kind of need there.
What do you got?
So I'm going to go with my one that you said. We get some weird sort of SmackDown announcement sort of thing. And it's going to be weird. It's a little bit off the wall. So obviously that SmackDown is going to be taped ahead of time. So everybody knows that. Everybody can kind of maybe see the spoilers. Stay away from the spoilers if you can. I got the Wyatt 6 versus the Street Profits. Maybe this is a little bit of hope. But I did the math. They had 3 tag teams to go through. They already went through Motor City. They got DIY. And they got Fraxium to go through. Well, you got 2 more shows. You could say, hey, this tag match here is going to be a number 1 contender match, and you fight at Night of Champions. They can just throw that on the night before, technically, and you could get the Wyatt 6 getting the win there and going against the Street Profits. That's a little bit hopeful for me. That's a little bit, hey, put a damn tag team title match on a show. That's kind of what I want. It's not a Champions. Put them on something here. So that's kind of a little bit of hope here, but that's kind of the storyline they seem to be running, is Wyatt 6 is going to kind of destroy the tag division to get to the Street Profits. And realistically, they could just do it on another episode of SmackDown, but if you don't do it at Night of Champions, you're doing it at SummerSlam or maybe a Saturday Night Main Event, but it's a little bit ways down the line.
Yeah. I mean, would I like to see the freaking Street Profits in a title match on a PLE? Yeah. All right. I would like to effing see that. Okay. Jesus, man. But it doesn't feel like WWE likes to put their SmackDown tag titles on the big one. And the only reason that the Raw tag titles made it on WrestleMania so they could have the Clash Clans freaking promo ad going on with the War Raiders. Yep. So unless there's some spooky video game attached to the Wyatt 6 name in the next couple weeks, I don't see it happening. But would I like to see it happen? Hell yeah, man. Get the Wyatt 6 and Street Profits on the big one. That'd be sweet.
Yeah, like I said, very hopeful. Very wishful thinking here on my part. But if it's not there, I mean, Bray was always kind of at the Saudi show, so maybe they kind of run that sort of thought process with the Firefly sort of
thing. They
should
do it just as a sorry to Goldberg beating Bray years ago, beating The Fiend years ago in Saudi. That should be their apology. I do have 2 more matches here. One just popped up on SmackDown this week, and we haven't seen her defend on PLEs ever since WrestleMania. No, I'm not talking about Io Sky as much as I would love to see that. I'm talking about Tiffy time. It should be Tiffy time in Saudi because Nia Jax attacked her after the Naomi Tiffany promo on SmackDown last week, and that seems to be something that they're going to go with. I guess Nia and Tiff never got their big blow-off match on a PLE per se. Now, I've already went into my thoughts on it on our SmackDown review. Go ahead and check that out in terms of how I don't like it in terms of storytelling based off Nia being in the Queen of the Ring tournament already. But if it gets Tiffany Stratton in a title match on a Saudi card, that would be nice. And you could have Naomi run out there and do her first teased cash in and get some drama going there. But it would be nice to see one of the women's top champions have a PLE match, title match.
Well, it would be nice. That's why it's not on my card. Because you know why? Evolution is just 2 weeks after that.
Yeah.
So I think they're kind of saving that match for Evolution. I think they're also saving Io Sky for Evolution. I think that's kind of maybe you're looking at this Night of Champions and you're looking at, hey, Evolution is just 2 weeks. So how do you do a quick turnaround time? So that's why I didn't put Tiffany or Io on my card. But they got to do something with both of those titles. I mean, like you said, this is already kind of hinted at. Maybe this is the filler feud until you go to SummerSlam, which that doesn't really move the needle. We've already kind of seen it. We've already had the blow off. And it's like, hey, Nia, you were just in the tournament and you lost it. You still get a shot. That's almost Rhea Ripley logic. Doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But they need to do something because what they have right now is just terrible.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. Do you have any other ones except for the one that I'm guessing we both booked?
I don't have a match, but I have a segment booked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Go for it. A title segment?
Title segment. I have Gunther coming out and cutting a segment.
Oh.
And then I got Goldberg interrupting Gunther. And I got Goldberg telling Gunther, you're next at Saturday Night Main Event in Atlanta.
Oh.
That's what I got.
Oh, so you're not booking the match then?
Nope. I got it in Atlanta, Goldberg's hometown.
Oh, that's his hometown. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. But
I don't know if it's his hometown, but WCW is in Atlanta. He played for the Falcons. It all just kind of.
Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible, though. I don't like that. I mean, to piggyback off this, my final match I have booked for Night of Champions is Goldberg taking on Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. And I have that segment that you just talked about happening tonight on Monday Night Raw. I have Goldberg coming out as soon as tonight on Monday Night Raw. He's going to walk out there and say, you're next, after Gunther comes out and probably cuts a scathing promo about how I've now brought prestige back to the division by defeating Jey Uso once and for all. And there's no one lined up for me and nobody's next. And then you see the man in the back, headbutting locker room doors and making himself bleed. And I don't know, but he's going to head to the ring and he's going to say, you're next, and we're going to do it in Saudi. Goldberg loves that Saudi money, man. They pay him good to come to Saudi over there. So that's what I have happening.
Yeah, if Saturday Night Main Event wasn't in Atlanta, wasn't Bill Goldberg's backyard, I would agree with you. But I got that Saturday Night Main Event. I mean, that either way, it's going to happen at one of the two shows.
It's happening.
And good send-off, I guess, for Bill.
Don't worry, everybody. We have one more. One more, you're next. That's it. And then we're done with them. Done with them. Mm-hmm. You have any more title matches? Any more matches booked?
No.
Probably makes sense because Triple H loves his 4 to 6 match cards at the very most. But those are pretty good matches. Hopefully it happens. A lot of SmackDown. Hopefully our top women's champions, at least one of them, gets to shine there. But we do have Evolution in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I think we kind of maybe have to prepare ourselves a little bit just for that thought process of, hey, Evolution is 2 weeks later. And then you even have Saturday Night Main Event the night before Evolution. So you're kind of jam-packed and kind of crunched in there. So it makes it really tough to build the feuds that we've kind of talked about here. So we'll see how this goes. I'm not really expecting a lot here, but it'll be a fun time. The shows are always nice. They're in the day, nice and early.
Yeah. Speaking of that, come watch it with us on our live streams at youtube.com/COD WrestlePod. We do Raw, SmackDown, and all PLEs. Make sure to go in the comments. Tell us what you think is going to happen at Night of Champions because we'd love to see your guys' match cards as well. And then for everything else, it's at COD WrestlePod, COD WrestlePod. We have a link tree in our bio. It's a link that takes you to all of our other links. It's all of our socials. Thank you guys so much for getting us to 10,000 followers on TikTok. That's a great bar that we hit that we're excited about. So I'm Will. That's Brandon. We're the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast, and we will see you next time.